is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host Ghost here, and you're watching a brand new episode of Dorks in Movie Minute. Today we're going to continue on with our Rick and Morty reviews of Season 5. And today we're talking about episodes 7 and 8. We're going to start with episode 7. This was called the Gotron Jerry Sis Rick Vangeline. It's a play on words of Neon Genesis Evangeline, which is an anime series of kind of the same vein of robot mechs and monsters. But yeah, we have this episode starts off with the Smith family going to Boob World, including Summer, Morty, and Rick. And they're really excited to go. They find a blue Gotron, which is a blue ferret looking like robot thing. Picture, like I said, Gundam, or like a Neon Genesis Evangeline, or a Power Rangers type situation. Rick gets all excited, and Morty wants nothing to do with this thing. He's like, no, I don't want to do this. I'd rather go to Boob World. They cancel Boob World because Rick's so excited about this thing. They end up getting Beth and Jerry involved in the whole family situation, where they go and find all the rest of the Gotron ferrets. They fuse up, make this big robot where they fight giant monsters as a family. They're having a good time. And just then this voiceover starts over Summer and Morty. They have this voiceover contest of who's telling the story better, or who's telling the right details and whatnot. And it kind of turns into the Sopranos mob kind of vibe with an anime kind of backstory going to it. So it's a really weird mesh of tones, I think, of what Rick and Morty has done before in the past and what they've done in the future, or what they will do in the future. But it's a really weird mix of tones, but it does work. It does work for what they're going with. And it feels like a mobster style story, whereas Rick starts to bring in other Smith family members from multiverses, including Little Ricky, which is like a small version of Rick, Crazy Rick. There's Yo-Yo Rick when Crazy Rick dies in a mafia style version of Summer. Summer ends up taking over the family after the Gotrons. They end up telling the other multiversal Smith families about these Gotrons. And so they start helping them out, making deals with the families, and it's very gangsterish and very mafioso style. But they end up getting all these Gotrons. Rick ends up turning on Summer and Morty eventually because he gets power hungry, and there's still that voiceover going on with Summer and Morty. So he ends up turning on them, and he ends up going for the original anime characters that mech the pilots, because apparently they're better at meching than the family was, because they knew what they were doing. The anime characters end up turning on Rick, who then has to end up killing the anime characters, but he ends up almost losing and getting into a deadly battle with them. So he decides to call in backup with Summer and Morty. Summer and Morty decide they're going to need help, so they call in their incest baby from the earlier episode of the season, which I knew was going to come back, but I had no idea it would be this early in Season 5. So the incest baby, Naruto, who is his name, comes back with the Smith family on board him like a giant mech. He ends up destroying the anime character's Gotron mech, and they end up saving Rick, and that's the end of the episode. It's all about family. It's a very family-esque Fast 9 kind of parody episode. But it was very funny. It worked for me. It wasn't the strongest episode of the season, but I thought it was fair in what it was doing and what they were trying to tell with the storyline. So my final verdict on episode 7 is I give this a 7 out of 10. It is a solid rewatchable episode. Not perfect by any means, but it is funny in parts, and it does have a good fast-paced storyline going with it, with a lot going on, so you're not feeling cheated out of the 30 minutes that you watch the show. So yeah, episode 7, I give a 7 out of 10. Let's move on to episode 8. This was a big episode lore-wise, because we got to see a whole lot of Rick's backstory, a whole lot of Bird Person's backstory, and how they met, how they have shaped each other's lives, and how they will shape each other's lives in the future, and where their future relationship is going to go. So this episode was called Ricketernal Friendship of the Spotless Mind. It is a pun on a movie title. I don't remember, Eternal Sunshine or something like that was the movie title. But this is a complete Bird Person and Rick episode. The family leaves somewhere, and Rick decides that he's going to work on Bird Person, because we saw before, he was trying before, and Bird Person was losing his mind and screaming and stuff like that, and he wasn't right. So Rick's deciding he's going to go in Bird Person's mind and fix him from the inside out. He ends up going inside Bird Person's mind, and there's a bunch of trippy sequences of him falling through the Bird Person egg, and like his face turns out of a yolk and stuff like that, and screams, and he falls through the mouth portal, and all sorts of stuff like that. Rick ends up meeting his younger version of himself inside a Bird Person's mind. He ends up convincing himself, well, actually the version of Rick of that bird person thinks Rick is. He convinces himself to help himself free Bird Person because they both love Bird Person as a friend. So there's this sequence of them. They go back to the bloody battle where they all met. Squatchy, Bird Person fighting the Troglodytes. With that giant war going on, we got to see all that. We got to see Rick and Squatchy and Bird Person's band they were in. We got to see Bird Person and Rick do this amazing battle sequence where they kind of like hugged and flew in the air and just shot everybody on the battlefield while spinning around. Amazing sequences. We got to learn a little bit more about Rick's wife. He was actually on a mission of revenge, we find out, because something happened to her due to other Ricks. So the Citadel of Ricks had something to do with Rick's wife's death. So that's very intriguing to learn as well. So yeah, like I said, huge lore episode. We get to learn also a lot about Bird Person, such as he really did love Tammy, and Tammy really did love Bird Person. So that was a real relationship they had. So that kind of explains why he went to the extents of what he did to become Phoenix Person and to change for the Federation and all these things. We get to see his suppressed memories inside of his mind behind this big red door that the Federation locked them all in. And we also learn another huge factor here is while Rick and Young Rick are, I'm going to call him Young Rick or Mind Rick, are going through Bird Person's mind, they learn that Bird Person had a child who is a half bird person, half regular person, who is being kept in a prison somewhere, in Galactic Prison. So Rick finds this out, and they end up trying to convince Bird Person to come with them. Bird Person does not want to. Bird Person has never been one to give in to Rick's demands and do what Rick wants him to do. So Rick respects that, and I think that's one of the reasons why Rick really loves Bird Person as a friend. So he decides not to do that. So then Rick tells him about his daughter. They end up going together to save her. And then they end up getting out of Bird Person's mind and going back to the real world. And that is when Rick and Bird Person go separate ways. Bird Person says that he's going to go save his daughter while Rick does what he's going to do. And he may help him in the future. We don't know. But we know that episode 9 and 10 are a 1-hour episode. It is a 2-part episode finale. So I'm very excited for that. So let me know what you guys think of the Rick and Morty Season 5 so far down below. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, guys, I'm going to give this episode, I almost forgot, I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. Very solid episode, very good writing, great animation. I love the backstory and the lore that we get with Rick and Bird Person and Squatchy and all the different characters in Rick and Morty. But let me know what you guys thought down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And as always, guys, keep it right here on Dorkston. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.